Hi guys! I hope you are all doing super well today, because in today's video I'm going to show you how I'm flipping my white edition thrift that I've so this is going to be a part 2. But first, a quick word to our sponsors, since I am again my own sponsor. So please show me some love and give this video a thumbs up and watch till the end, and also comment, leave me a comment. What do you think about this thrift flip? Or maybe you have some ideas what I can do next. Also subscribe if you haven't already, share this with your friends, and now let's get back to our video. Okay, so first I flipped this t-shirt over here. It is a very basic t-shirt, and this is how I'm doing this t-shirt. This is just a basic t-shirt, but it also fits me well, but it has some stains right here and right here. I wasn't able to wash this out, so this tee I'm going to turn into a tank top, since I don't really have like basic tank tops. So I'm going to turn this into a tank top. I'm going to cut here on the front. I'm going to make a larger scoop and create some straps like so, and then I'm also going to dye these. I have some yellowish color, and I'm going to try this color out and see if this t-shirt is going to be like a little bit like vanilla color. So this is what I'm going to do with this shirt, and this is how it turned out. I am very happy with the result. I had a chance to get really creative. So for the front right here, I've used acrylic paint, fabric acrylic paint, and a acrylic pen, and as you can see, I left the seaming on the outside of the shirt. And then next on my bucket list, I have this t-shirt over here. Now I have this white t-shirt over here, so it has a zipper. This is beautiful. So what I'm going to do with this shirt, I'm going to cut the collar out, and then on the sleeves I'm going to go first like cutting on the bias like so, and then try this on and see if I like the fit of such a sleeve. If not, I'm just going to cut out the sleeve and hem the opening, and that's it. And also here I'm just going to hem the neck opening, and that's it. And on the bottom I am going to also trim the bottom a little bit, not too much. I'm going to go like a rounded shape down here, and use a zigzag stitch. Since I don't have a serger, I'm going to use a zigzag stitch to hem also the bottom. And this is how it's looking like right now, after I made all the alteration. And then next on my bucket list, it's also a t-shirt, which I've decided to turn it into a tube top. So this is very simple, only cutting the top and adding some elastic, and that's it. This is how it's looking like right now. And then next on my bucket list, I have this white sweater over here. It's very soft. It fits perfectly. Okay, so to transform this sweater, I've decided how much fabric that I want to cut off. So I put a stitch marker on the bottom of the sweater and also on the sleeve. And now I'm just going to use a regular ruler and a pen and trace some marks so that my cutting is going to be the same all the way around my sweater, and I'm doing this also on the back side of the sweater. And then with my scissors I'm just going to cut away the excessive fabric that I'm done knitting it. And I'm also going to trim the sleeves. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to run a zigzag stitch all the way where I've cutted my fabric, since I don't want my sweater to fray. And I've also prepared the ribbing. I've used my green yarn, and for the cuffs I've chained a total of 11 and then worked single crochets into the back loop only for 23 rows, and for the bottom I've chained 16 and then just measured around my waistline to know like when I'm going to stop. And then I've tried sewing this with my sewing machine, but it didn't came well, so I've decided afterwards to kind of rip everything off and sew the ribbing to the sweater with just a regular yarn needle and my yarn that I've also made the cuffs and the bottom ribbing. And this is how it's looking like right now. So a very great alteration using some crochet and some yarn. And then next on my bucket list I have again another sweater with a V opening, this one right here. And what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to first decide how much fabric I want to cut off, since I do want to crop this sweater a little bit. So I'm going to pin on the back side of the sweater where I'm going to make the seam. So I hope I'm clear enough. So I'm pinning where I want to make the seam, and then I'm going to do this on my sewing machine, running a zigzag stitch all the way around, and then I'm going to cut off the excessive fabric. And then I'm also going to run then a zigzag stitch, like a top stitching all the way around the cutting, all the way around my seaming. And then I also want to change the embellishment that the sweater has on the left side. So right here, this one I don't like it. It's too vintagey for me, so I'm going to crochet a heart. And to make the heart I'm using this color right here. I'm holding two strands together, a 4.5 millimeter crocheting hook, and I'm going to make first a basic granny square and then change this in the last row to create a heart shape embellishment. And once I've had this done, I'm pinning it over the original embellishment, and then I'm going to sew this all the way around. And this is how my sweater turned out. And now I have this white jacket right here. This is a vintage piece, and I'm going to flip this using a pillowcase that has this beautiful mandala pattern. So I'm going to, sorry, but I'm not in frame at all. So what I'm doing here is I'm cutting out the pillowcase so that it's easier for me to then cut out only the pattern that I want to use. And then once I've done that, I'm placing the largest mandala that I had on my pillowcase on the back panel. To the back panel, I'm going to use some sewing pins and pin this in place, and then I'm going to run a zigzag stitch all the way around this mandala to make sure that it stays in place and that the fabric it's not going to fray. And I've also decided to cut out some pattern. It's the same pillowcase, and pin this in place also on the front of the jacket, and also running a zigzag stitch all the way around this pattern. And yes, this was kind of tedious to run the zigzag stitch around this pattern, but I did it. And this is how this jacket turned out. It's elegant and boho style. And now I have this crochet vest right here. The material, it's not very soft, so I upcycled the yarn, and this is what I done with it. So I use this to make a bathroom makeover and cover some glasses, and made some candle holders. And here I have this white cardigan. Again, this is vintage, and here is how I'm going to flip this. Okay, now with this cardigan I've already attached on front my embellishment, and to make the embellishment I've used velvet yarn and hold 2 strands together and chain 25 in total, and I'm leaving some tail to have a little bit more decoration. And then I've run the smallest zigzag stitch that I have on my sewing machine. I've run this around to create the heart shape. So my hearts aren't perfect, but I'm not looking for perfection, I'm looking for uniqueness. So with that being said, Also, while you're sewing, you can maneuver your chain under the presser foot. So we are going to pin this in 4 spots. Now let me show you down here. So I'm making sure I need to put my glasses on. Okay, so am I in frame? I hope my head is not like okay, so I'm putting these 2 ends here together, then take a sewing pin and put this to place like this, and then I'm going to take like the middle where the fold is, to say so, and I'm going also to put a sewing pin in there. And now I'm just creating here a little curve. Like so. And then I'm also going to pin this up here. And then, as I said, while I'm sewing this with the zigzag stitch, I'm kind of maneuvering this under my presser foot. So if you don't have a sewing machine, this is also, or you don't want to sew this using your sewing machine, this is also a great project you can do without a sewing machine. So you can sew all of these hearts by hand. So I'm going to put another one down here. And stick a sewing pin in there. And pin it in place. Now if you're sewing this with your sewing machine, go ahead and take your time and do this slowly. Don't put too much pressure on you. So okay, so I'm going to sew this on my sewing machine, and this is how it's looking like right now. So I'm also very happy with how this cardigan turned out. And now on my bucket list I have this pair of jeans. These are also vintage from Elegance Paris, and they have a stain on it, and also the waist it's too high. So this is how I'm going to flip this. Okay, so to flip this pair of jeans, I'm going to use some doilies and a doily dishcloth that my grandmother gave it to me, and I'm going to use a small zigzag stitch and sew in place, so like sewing around the doily. I'm also going to place something on the back pocket, so cutting off some of the doilies and placing on the back pockets. And I also decided to leave the waistline as it is. This is the result of my vintage jeans. And here I have another sweater on my bucket list. Okay, now for this sweater I've decided that I am going to cut the bottom. So I'm going to lay this flat on the ground, making sure that the front and the back panel are even, and I'm just going to cut off right here, and I'm going to follow like the pattern that it's here on the bottom. Like this, and I'm going to cut here open and also cut here open, since I am going to use these pieces right here. Now the bottom, I'm just going to fold it once and then run a zigzag stitch all the way to hem it. And with this leftovers right here, I'm going to make a flared sleeve. So I'm going to leave the sleeve as it is, like so. And what I want to do is to create a layer or a layering that is flared, and that goes over the actual sleeve, and it is going to be here open. So I'm going to pin this. I need a piece of cardboard. Okay, so let's see if this goes in. Okay, so I'm going to stick this inside of the sleeve to make my pinning easier. And I'm now going to pin first this side also. I hope my head is not in frame. So I'm going to make like another one here. See, so I'm going to repeat this also for my second sleeve, and then I'm just going to run a zigzag stitch all the way up here, and this is how it's looking like right now. This was my last thrift flip white edition. I still have a few more items, so white wearables that I've thrifted in my very large haul, but I'm not quite sure what to do with them, so I'm going to set this aside for a while and kind of get some ideas what else can I do with them, and of course I'm going to let you know and show you how they also turned out. So friends, this is all I had to say and show for today's video. So thank you for joining me today, and I see you next time in my next video. Bye.